Welcome, travelers, to another episode of the Time Travel Trio podcast. I'm Jen.
I'm Matt.
And I'm Hai.
And we're
the Time Travel Trio!
Cowabunga.
Guys,
Yes, pizza.
this is our 50th episode.
The big,
Woo!
the big 5-0.
The big 5-0, and we pulled out the big guns for this guy.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Woo!
The most requested.
You guys have been clamoring for it, and we're getting to it.
To the point that one of my coworkers said, "Has it really come to this?" When I told him what movie we were doing this week.
Oh,
This was on-demand time travel podcast. You guys wanted it, and you demanded it, and we gave it to you.
Yep.
Well,
Today we are doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. There's no official tagline, but it was something about
Turtles in Time.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the SNES game, which I'd rather have reviewed that. But yeah, it's like the Sacred Scroll of Death, which I'm sure
doesn't even make sense in the
was
movie, but okay.
like a pre-production title on it.
Yeah.
There was a scroll that had them on there, but I don't know. It was more about the magical scepter. But anyways, yeah. So this is the third
Magical
movie.
Scepter of Death.
Yeah, this is the third movie in the live-action original trilogy of the Turtles.
And the final one. They
Yeah.
never did anyone else after this.
Gee, I wonder why. The tagline, Ancient Japan, 1593, which is incorrect, by the way. Without a map, without a clue, without a pizza.
Oh, no.
They actually go to 1603 in Japan. You can't even get your tagline right? Come on.
Yeah,
Get
there's all
together.
sorts of... Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is a licensing thing that the studios just wanted to make, and yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people's theories is that they knew the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was dying in popularity, and other shows were starting to take over as way more popular. So it was the last cash grab for this franchise, basically, because the Jim Henson Productions did not even return to this.
Yeah, you can tell. Splinter looks like crap in this one. He's like a hand puppet that's just walking around, or not even walking around. He just sits in
He doesn't move.
Yeah, he just sits behind a thing and
It made quite a bit of money, though.
Yeah, but it probably made its money back.
It made
overall
more than double its money back.
Well, I mean, marketing and all that stuff, and
It was respectable enough for them to be okay, this was worth making one more movie, but certainly not enough for them to justify making a fourth film, because otherwise they would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yet they needed to make more of these films recently.
Yeah, I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is on TV again. So
Yeah.
it's every time, way back in 2006 or something, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was back on TV as an animated show, a traditional cel-drawn. So they brought a 3D animated movie, called TMNT, out. And then, when the new woodcut 3D animation came out, they decided to do the one with Will Arnett and Megan Fox.
The Michael Bay produced one.
So,
Yeah.
which actually, I will say, I liked the Turtles in the first, Michael Bay produced one. I thought the fight scenes in their, repertoire with each other were actually really good. The problem is, it doesn't feel like a Turtles movie. And also, just why do they look like that? It makes no sense.
Someone did a Photoshop of what they should look like with the old noses, and it's oh yeah, it looks less frightening.
It looks a lot better. It
Yeah.
looks a lot better.
I mean, it is just I saw the original, not the original. I saw that Michael Bay produced one in theaters with my friend, and I was this isn't for me anymore. I didn't hate it, but I was this is clearly for kids. This
Right.
isn't for me anymore. It's whatever.
Right.
And that's kind of what I felt rewatching this. I was I mean, it's not funny. The jokes are lazy, and the pop culture references
Are really dated.
really dated,
yeah.
and also unneeded a lot of the time, and don't make any
Yeah.
sense. But it's it was kind of charming, at least for me, because it's nostalgia. But it's also all right, well, this is for a kid. I'm not a kid anymore, so I don't know. It was I didn't hate watching this movie again, but yeah, I'm an adult, so it's it's different.
Yeah. I mean, I went into it knowing I'd hate it, so I guess I didn't hate it more than I already knew I would hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
Yay.
Yeah. I just it's an hour and a half I'm not going to get back from my life, but
Yeah.
it is
Yeah.
what it is.
I don't ever remember liking this film. Even as a kid,
Yeah, I don't know if I liked it.
I don't think I ever was yeah, Ninja Turtles in Time.
It's not even that fun of a Turtles movie, I think.
Yeah.
It's just, I never wanted to see the Ninja Turtles fighting samurais.
I know. Well, I can see how a studio would be like, oh yeah, do it. 'Cause I think there's like a comic book storyline. Because I think in the comics they've gone to feudal Japan more than once.
Yes.
But like without Shredder, what is a turtle movie? Like at least have this guy be an ancestor of Shredder. Like have some hints that he's like, he's like a guy that loves having blades on his hand. Give me something that's like, oh yeah, this is like an old Shredder. But he wasn't the villain. He was like a guy that was kind of a victim to this like British dude that was trying to sell him gunpowder.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just wanted to. It was like a Romeo and Juliet thing with the two families, I guess. But like
it was a messy.
Yeah, that was messy.
Like story that was just kind of thrown away, and like lines were just like thrown against a wall for people to say.
Yeah. But the villain was the British dude that,
Yeah, Stuart Wilson's character.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It wasn't Shredder. It felt like a weird licensing thing. It wasn't like a true turtle movie. Like the first and second movie were at least noble
adaptations.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they were trying. The first movie's not like a good movie, but it's a very fun movie because it's the Ninja Turtles are doing their thing.
Well, it's also dark too, like the comics were.
Yes, it is. I mean,
the second
Shredder
one,
overkill.
Yeah, but the second one had like Vanilla Ice, and it was like they were less dark, and it was more silly, and that pop culture stuff was like at least less mindless. So I actually do like the second one for like nostalgia's sake still, but I actually that movie's kind of fun. This one was just like lazy.
I think this one, if it was more self-aware, it would have been more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Right, like, wow, how ridiculous this is. We're in, like, we time traveled.
Right.
Like, they could have really, like, made it, like, they could have really gone for it, but, like, it's almost like they couldn't quite commit to, like, making it, like, just a silly, out-of-the-top movie. Like, it doesn't go hard enough in the paint, as I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't make strong enough choices. I will say, Stuart Wilson is clearly having a ton of fun doing this. Like, he knows the movie's bad. But he doesn't care. He's just like, you know what, paycheck, and I get to be like this silly... He probably did it for like his kids or something.
Yeah,
like, I get to be this silly dude.
Like, he had a personality. I appreciated that. That he wasn't just like, get these demons out of here. He had like some moments, with his bird and all that stuff. It wasn't like... He wasn't just a guy that hated the turtles.
Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's watch the trailer.
Yeah.
93.
16th century Japan. Brave men ride into battle, fighting an evil emperor. With their only hope, a golden scepter that can open the gates of time itself. Now, in their darkest hour, come 4 brave fighters from another time, another place, another species?
You were expecting maybe the Addams Family?
They're back. And they're back in time.
Hey, Dad, check it out! We're in Shogun!
Once before, demons defeated my ancestors. Now they've come back for me.
Talk about your quantum leap!
My cannons can destroy these monsters, my lord.
Uh-oh, this doesn't bode well. Come on, hit it down! Somebody dial 911.
I have a feeling we're going to be here for a very long time. This is the worst rescue I've ever had.
I think I swallowed a frog. I hope it wasn't an ancestor.
New Line Cinema presents
A Legorama. Sweet.
The 4 greatest turtles
Hey, all right. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
ever to go down in history.
It's just your ordinary time travel equal mass displacement kind of thing. Kids.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3.
Help, I'm a turtle and I can't get up.
Wow.
I mean, that is a... Like, looking back now, that's a fun trailer because it's everything you want, like an old trailer with, like, the VO and, like, and a different species.
But you can even hear how many dated references there are, even just in the trailer.
Yeah.
Right.
I also think that, for some reason, this movie did actually originally take place in like 1593 Japan, and then for some reason they changed it because even that trailer says 16th century.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was just the year that we saw on the one.
Someone in
movie.
post-production
Yeah.
messed up. They're like, yeah, just...
wait, make it 10 years later? Why? I don't know. Just do it.
Just
Whatever.
do it.
Who cares?
This is what we pay you for.
It's like someone was drunk one night in the editing bay.
Yeah.
No one will care. And no one
16th
probably has
century.
cared until this moment right now.
Yeah.
So,
Cinema Sins, where are you?
yeah, right. I wonder if they've done this.
You know what it must have been? The movie came out in 1993. It must have just been 400 years prior. Because 1593, if that was the intention.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
That
then
must
why
have
would
been
they
it.
make it 1603? That would
I
make
don't
so
know.
much more sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Anyways.
what a movie.
Quantum Leap reference, though. Rare
There-
Quantum Leap reference.
there-
I'm very happy for that.
There are
Which
so
we'll
many
do
references.
eventually. We'll do Quantum Leap. Yeah, there's a lot of references.
And it's like, they're kind of like, the references a couple times to like Bill and Ted, like visually with electricity flying around and like, I think they say totally excellent. They say like excellent and I don't know, but that's just their style
Yeah.
anyways.
So before I forget, I do want to ask this question. So the guy in Japan, I don't even know his name.
Ken?
No, not him. The other one. The leader guy.
Oh, what?
This guy, Lord.
Oh, okay. Norinaga.
Norinaga.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I was like,
The
could not know
Emperor.
his name. Yeah, he makes a reference and says that, like, these turtles killed his ancestors.
I know.
What?
So,
So
I mean,
does that,
yeah.
like, imply that they use this time travel thing again?
So yeah, I was going to bring this up when we talk about the time travel, but yeah, that implies that they time travel again later on,
yeah.
and then beat his ancestors. Which, because like I think at some point they see the scroll and they're like, "Oh, our ancestors must have done this," but like, bro, the movie before we just saw you guys were created by this ooze, so we don't, we know
So
you
they're
don't
gonna
have
come
any.
back.
Like, there's no other mutant turtles running around the world, so like.
that you know of.
Yeah. But so essentially, I think that implies that they have always time traveled, and they did it again earlier to defeat the guy's ancestors.
So where is the duplicate of the scepters now in 1993?
I think it's only one scepter that links the points in time because it never disappears.
Yeah, that's true.
It stays there.
Though there is,
yeah, you're
I
right.
know we'll get into this later, so I'm not going to talk about it too much. Though the very beginning, right off the bat, they break under their own time travel rules. Like immediately, they break it when April O'Neil comes in. But I'll talk about that more when we get to scientific accuracy and
Yeah.
how does the time travel work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we started talking about the time travel, so let's just get into it. There's this magic scepter
Yeah.
that, for reasons we don't even know, April has in her possession.
She found it at a flea market,
Which is where as you do.
And it's so...
she called it an egg timer.
Yeah.
How-
Has she ever seen an egg timer before?
How
like,
is that-
I thought April O'Neil was supposed to be smart. Like
Like-
come on.
Like, if she would have said, "Oh, it's an ancient torch. It's an ancient lantern," like
I mean, it's an ancient one of those... I mean, you could almost call it... It looks more like the
It looks like a-
hourglass.
Yeah.
Rather than like an egg timer.
I
That's
mean, why would she just think it was an old lamp?
lantern or something.
Yeah.
Like
or
what?
like because it has like a glass. It looks like a mace, but like a glass, case to have like a light in there.
Right.
Except there's like a time turner on the inside. It's like a little
Yeah, it is. It's like a
yeah.
Harry Potter time.
Yeah, it's like a time turner. It spins around.
Maybe that's how they sold it to her at the flea market. Oh, this is an ancient Japanese egg timer. Before they had egg timers of today. She was like, oh, cool. Well, sure.
Like, how much money did she pay for that?
Hopefully not a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, she had like shitty TVs and like other stuff, and she had a lampshade that she gave them, so she obviously did not spend much.
Yeah.
Also, why? She's just going on vacation. Why does she need to sell all this stuff? Like, she acts like she's moving. She's just going on vacation.
Like, why? Yeah, why? I don't understand. There's so many questions.
I think that whole line of vacation was because she got sent to the past. And it's like, oh, look, you wanted a vacation, now you're in feudal Japan. Like that. I think that was just written like that, so that they can have that one line.
I would
Yeah.
not be surprised.
Yeah. I don't think there was a ton of thought put into the plot of this movie.
Yeah, by the way, written and directed by, what's his name?
Stuart Gilliard.
Stuart, I don't know who he is, but yeah, he wrote and directed it, I think.
Yeah, he wrote and
Okay.
directed it, and apparently he hadn't actually done a ton of before he did this movie. Like, he did mostly television.
All right, well,
well, this is his claim to fame, I
he
suppose.
made it.
Yeah.
There you
He
go.
made it big.
He was probably very cheap. That's why the studio went with him.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But no, okay, so
Wait.
time travel. There's something that, speaking of April O'Neil, they break their major time travel rule immediately. So, there's this whole visual gag with, like, when the turtles get sent back in time, someone has to replace them. So the honor guards replace the turtles.
Mm-hmm.
And they're kind of dressed up like they would be turtles, like, instead of, like, so they're not naked, they have, like, aprons on, because, like, it's, like, supposed to be, like, a half shell, basically, I guess, for them.
Yeah.
Whatever, I can buy that, and, you know, all that jazz. But April O'Neil goes back, and literally the only thing that stays with her is her Walkman. Why the Walkman?
Well, that's the thing too. They take weapons too, because when the samurai and the honor guard came to the present, they had their swords, but they were like not wearing any clothes.
Right.
Like, they still had their swords
when they went back at the end, the honor guard went and got their swords.
Yeah,
They went back.
and also Ken had his sword with him because Leo was like, "Oh yeah, this is a sword from feudal Japan."
So
like,
does it mean just your clothes can't go back, but anything you're holding, like any item that you're holding,
maybe
goes
it's
back?
what represents you as an item, and so for them it's weapons, and for her it's a Walkman.
Yes, because a reporter always
It's
needs
not a
her
pen and
Walkman.
paper; it's a Walkman.
It's all needs her, maybe it was a recording device. I could like believe it. Like this is how I get notes, but it's a Walkman.
It's only for the fact that they have that quote unquote funny bit when they're like when
Chopping
it
it
starts
up.
to make noise and they shut. Everything is just for the gag,
Which
that
in the-
doesn't end up being funny ever. So
And in the shot, the headphones aren't plugged in. Like the headphones clearly are not
yeah,
plugged into.
Walkmans don't work without the headphones plugged in, right?
No,
So
that's the point of Walkmans.
what?
They're not speakers.
Yeah, clearly the time travel is not realistic, but yeah, the idea is they have to, like, this thing links together the people that have the same body weight, and we have a clip that explains it. But yeah, so that's the how.
I'm more surprised that there's actually a clip that explains it. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, yeah, but it's obviously Donatello talking, played by Corey Feldman, who got paid $1,500 to be the voice.
I think said it was $15,000.
$1,500, I think.
1,500? Like not even 2,000.
I think it was $1,500.
Even in '90s money, that's really
not
bad.
right.
I mean, there might have been like some like deal, like, you know, whatever.
Back-end pay.
But like, I think he just got paid scale to do the VO work in the booth.
Poor Corey Feldman. He like always just got like anyway.
Yeah. So here's the clip of Donatello explaining the device.
Let's see here. If I subtract the cosine from the inverted integer, then I can take the flangular and put that here. Oh, that's it. Of course. It's equal mass displacement. See, guys, for every one of us that goes back, someone from the past will come here. But the problem is that switch will only work under one condition. You know what that is? Tuesdays? Groundhog's Day? Oh, great.
It will only work if the magic travelers each have the same weight.
Bingo! Gee, you guys do have a good educational system, huh?
They have to have the same weight in order to go. There's no way that all four of those tiny little Asian honor guard men weigh the same as those giant turtles.
Yeah.
There's no way.
I
And
know.
the fact that they're all the same weight.
Well, what I think is the most ridiculous is, in order for them to actually be transporting to the past, all four of the dudes must have been holding the scepter at the same time.
Yeah.
Which I doubt they were, first of all. And the scene where the turtles actually travel, like, the first time we see Ken do it, he's, like, doing the chant and he, like, opens it up, whatever. But, like, they're just holding it and it starts to work. No one actually says the chant.
Yeah.
There's also a problem with the fact that, like, wait, how do you consider time works? Like, so
How do you choose?
Yeah, how do you choose? So are you saying that literally at the same time, every single year or moment is happening concurrently at the same time?
To the scepter, yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because it seems like time is running concurrently between the past and the present. Like, which,
Yeah.
this is a ridiculous rule that they just threw out there. They only have 60 hours until the space-time continuum is out of phase.
Yeah.
Like-
What? We've seen a lot of time travel movies, and that is absurd.
And look, they could have at least done like, okay, it's 400 years in the past, so we have 40 hours.
Actually, it's 410 years.
Well, yeah, because of the mistake.
Or
Let's go based
390.
Let's go based on what probably the screenwriter wanted.
Yeah.
So it's 400 years in the past. So maybe 40, like it all works in fours, like some sort of
Yeah.
mathematical.
We have 4
Bogus
days to
equation.
get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, like,
anything.
yeah.
What's funny is in the clip that we just showed, there's a computer screen with a bunch of words flying by, and I actually paused it, and it was talking about, like, oh, the gas temperature needs to be something so the atoms don't get out of phase, and the gas level temperature, and it's like just obviously someone in like the set design just wrote up some gibberish explanation of just like sciencey sounding words.
I mean, in '93, people didn't really think that you'd be looking at this on a computer and pausing it.
Yeah, I just think it's funny to
read
think
it.
of like someone in the set design or like.
That's their job.
I know. I thought it was like a funny thing to do.
It is
like,
funny because you can just like see him like, all right, Bradley, just write some science gibberish.
Yeah. What's also cool after that, there's also some code afterwards, and it actually looks like proper code. There's like return 0. There's like they comment stuff out. So like someone that wrote it obviously knew computers, but it's just funny because they were like, hey, write some gibberish about science and throw it in there.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. It was a nice
and
little
do an
touch.
equal mass displacement code.
Yeah.
Shouldn't Ken's outfit when he went back at the very end be like the cutoff
I thought that too.
dress?
Yeah. I know.
Because she cut it. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
There's so many problems.
Nice would have been funny.
Yeah, it would have been funny. The Groundhog Day reference.
Yeah, there's a lot of... they also have I'll Be Back with Terminator, and there's all sorts of things that they reference.
It's like a rule time travel movies have to reference other time travel movies.
If you're the Turtles,
it's a
yeah.
shame. Yeah. It's like, just make your own time travel movie, and it doesn't have to be a bunch of references. At least they didn't try and like... I mean, obviously there wasn't lottery back in 1603 Japan.
Yeah, they didn't have any. They didn't have any like, oh, we should invent this and we'd be rich.
Yeah, there weren't a
They
lot
never
of
mentioned that.
time travel tropes that we often see.
It was
time
just
travel tropes.
Yeah, it was just like they wanted to have pizza, so he tried make a pizza and it failed, and he threw it like a frisbee.
Yeah.
That's like the only future thing that they did in the past, you know.
Yeah, it seemed like they could have like made some sort of an offhanded joke or some sort of a comment like, you know, hey, I could invent the wheel and be a millionaire in New York and we wouldn't have to live in a sewer or something, you know, or like whatever.
Yeah, it's also like, just speaking of the writing, when they mention jokes about like frogs and stuff, and like, oh, I hope I didn't eat an ancestor of mine. It's like they're obviously being silly, but like they know they're not frogs.
It makes me laugh just how silly those types of jokes are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jokes that fell flat, but there were also some jokes that were so absurd that it just like made me laugh.
Yeah, it was charming. Some of the things were charming, like, you know, silly and just like, oh, okay, if you're a kid, whatever.
Well, in 400 years, frog could turn into a turtle.
Yeah,
somehow.
it can evolve, sure.
Yeah,
it could evolve to a new state.
Like, speaking of weird time things, in the present day, at some point, Splinter's sitting there with Ken, and he's like, I hear danger, and Ken's like, I hear it too, and it's like the night before they were attacked.
What?
So Splinter
so then
can
I guess
sense...
it does fall with your theory that it's
all happening concurrently.
That it's concurrent timelines, but
I don't know.
I still like am trying to wrap my head around like it's the same scepter, and I guess it never leaves, but like eventually wouldn't there? I don't know. I guess no. All right.
It's weird.
I guess
if you ever say it just goes to the quickest point in time where, and I'm giving a lot of credit to this movie right now. Like, I'm guessing if April O'Neil grabs a scepter and says the incantation, the scepter just goes to the last time someone touched it, and then they morph with those people.
So how does it pick what time?
Yeah.
I think it just keeps going
it?
back. It like goes from 1993 and just keeps going. But that wouldn't make sense because then she was switched with the flea market person.
Yeah, people have handled
True.
the scepter before.
That would have been funny to see the flea market person there. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The people have handled the scepter before, so does it move backwards if later in the Turtles' future they go farther back in time? Does that mean, like, that scepter is moving backwards in time, like on a time stream, while this is moving forward?
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, somewhere in the middle, halfway between, there's, like, some starting off point, and then from there it's, like...
I think the scepter... like, obviously exists in the past. It, like, stays alive. It doesn't get destroyed.
How was it made? How was it created? Like, where did this time travel magic come from?
Yeah.
It's just
There's
literally...
so many questions.
It's literally White Hollywood saying Japanese magic.
Yeah.
It is, like, it's a weird thing because, like, when we see, like, April O'Neil travel, like, it like, sits there in midair until, like, the other guy comes and holds it. And so, like, it's weird. It's, like, the power in the scepter can just jostle you around, and I don't know, it's like a benevolent god, just is like, you're going back in time.
That'd be interesting.
It's like the powers that be choose where it sends you.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but it's very easy to travel in time with this thing.
Yeah.
You just don't get to pick where you go,
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
I know. It is, there are some issues, but, you know.
Some issues.
Yeah.
Just a few.
One of my
this
notes...
is a pretty tight, script.
Oh,
yeah.
One of my notes was literally, people spent money to make this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let that sink
$17
in.
million.
$17 million to make this movie.
Yeah.
And only $1,500 of that went to Corey Feldman's voice.
Who deserved way more for having to do these lines.
Yeah. I mean, it is, like, there are some other things that are just, like, dumb about it, because when the villain fell off the cliff and splashed, there was no splash, he just disappeared. There's a splash sound.
There's a splash sound, and then it's like, he's there, and then he's not.
Yeah, he like blinks out of existence. Yeah. It's like just editing.
Which actually would have been cooler if he actually blinked out of existence.
Yeah, I know.
Like, at least, like, drop, like, a boulder down into the water and, like, make that effect. It's not that hard.
Also, why are British people selling gunpowder to feudal Japan? Like, the Chinese invented gunpowder. Literally across the bay.
I don't know.
There's a lot of questions. I'm telling you.
Yeah, there's a video that I saw like a while, like it's a really old video, but the Angry Video Game Nerd, he did a review of this movie like years and years ago, where he like pointed out how dumb it was, and like so if you want to see like someone get angry at the movie, you can look up his video.
Will do.
Yeah.
Push the link out there in the world.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is such an interesting property. Because I don't think it's ever been as popular as it was in like the late 80s, early 90s. Like they've tried and tried and tried to make it as popular as it used to be. But it's never been able to get back to like its popular. Like, and that's not like, it's still doing okay. Like it's a franchise that's still relevant like 30 years later. But think about like Star Wars. Maybe the hype isn't as big as it was in the 70s, like when no one had seen anything like that again. But the franchise is, if anything, it's gotten bigger since the 70s. Because now, like, the people have grown up and give it to their kids. And,
I think the problem is the kids right now, I would think, are used to seeing really fantastical, high-detailed superhero movies and, like, monsters that are very imaginative and different. And, they don't look like people. These look like people in costumes. And, like, obviously this movie was 93. And even, like, taking into consideration, like, the newer Turtle movies that are, quote-unquote, more, animated and whatever looking. But they still just look like giant turtles. It's not... There's nothing, like, fantastical about them.
I know. It is like a... It was like a sign of the times, like ninjas and, like, turtles and, like,
teenagers.
Right. And obviously the comic was like a... Wasn't it Daredevil's accident that caused the Turtles originally in the comics?
Yep, Daredevil's accident. Technically speaking, Daredevil caused... Actually, it's not even technically. Canonically. I don't even know how to say it.
Canonically.
Canonically. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were formed by the same ooze that made Daredevil blind and heightened his senses.
Yeah. Like in the comics, it was like the same accident.
That's cool.
Yeah. But, so I think like the comics were created as like a commentary of the current state of comics at the time. Mm-hmm. And then obviously spun into this kid franchise, but originally it was pretty dark and it was like,
very violent.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be like, the second movie was way more kid friendly than the first one. And I think that was them marketing it more towards like fun, colorful, silly stuff,
It's just, it's just creepy. Giant turtles who can fight is just creepy.
I think the first two movies also work because the first two movies, it's very dark, and so first of all, it's a Jim Henson company, so they look better and less creepy.
Yeah.
But two, by everything being dark, you never really get a good look at them. Well, in this movie, in the light all the time,
they're just wearing rubber suits.
Yeah, like they just look cheap.
The arm muscles is like really what made me just stand back and be like, ooh, that's weird. Yeah,
it is like the people in the suits. They are martial artists. They're doing like acrobatical moves. They're like doing roundhouse kicks and all this other stuff. So they're actually doing martial arts. So I'm pretty sure it's just like a rubber suit that they're wearing.
Yeah, which like if it wasn't a rubber suit, it would probably be more fun to watch.
Yeah,
or something. It's just like because it goes back to what I said before. If it was more self-aware of how ridiculous it is, then it would probably be more fun. But it's like, we know this is a bad movie. You should know that this was a bad movie. So, like, we're all in on it together. What are you trying to hide?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think the stuff with the honor guard in the present day was kind of fun.
Yeah, we're like
some of the stuff was funny.
They're in the bar and everything.
In the TV.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
They're like dancing.
The hockey stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there wasn't too much of it too, so it was enjoyable and wasn't overplayed.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it easily could have been.
Yeah, I mean, like, the stuff with them and Casey, like, they're leaving, the guy couldn't stop hugging him because, like, they bonded so much with, like, hockey and stuff. I was like, all right, that, they didn't overdo with that, which I thought was good. So, it was charming, I thought, at some aspects.
I think I would have rather have seen that movie of them, like, learning how to adapt to, like, modern day times and, like, become hockey stars.
Yeah, or have the Turtles adventure be shorter and have the feudal Japanese guys face Shredder in some way.
That would have been cool.
Have them fight, because they have their swords. They can,
Yeah. And then the whole thing with them, like, half of them wanting to stay in Japan felt forced to
Yeah, that
me.
was dumb.
It was just like, we know you're not going to go back. It's the Turtles. You guys are always all together. Like, what are you hiding?
And it was an obvious thing where, like, Mitsuko, or whatever her name is, Mitsu, I think her name was.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, well, if you don't go, then Ken can't come back. They all can't come back. And it's like, oh, well then, yeah. Like duh, that's the whole rules of this time travel.
Yeah, why did it take her having to tell him to be like, oh yeah, I can't be a selfish asshole?
Yeah.
Right.
To be fair, they are teenagers.
They're right, but like and I get that, but they wanted to stay because people...
Like them?
Not even like them, they like... Not honor them, but I can't think of the word. They
weren't afraid of them.
They bow down to them. They see them as heroes and like gods.
Right,
kind of.
which is something I guess they were hoping that the fans of the first two movies picked up on, because it's definitely a theme in the first film. Is that the fact they have to be in the shadows, like they can't, like no one can see them, like they can't, like the world can't know about them. But in the third movie, they don't really hit on that, so it doesn't have the same impact. Like if there was something like with them. If the movie opened with them saving somebody instead of that weird dance number,
yeah, that would have been so much better.
They save somebody and then they're like, "You guys are freaks," and they're all like, "We hate you."
Or they save some woman and then she screams at them,
right? And then they go back home. They go to feudal Japan and they're heroes. So maybe then that would have had a little bit more emotional resonance. And I wonder if in the original script maybe that was there.
Well, I mean, it's written by the director, so I doubt.
That's true. So
he's that different.
This is not the kind of movie that there was a bunch of
rewrites.
Studio notes. I think.
Yeah, they just wanted to have dumb stuff with.
God, there was
stupid
way too much
Elvis
time
jokes
of them dancing and putting lamps on their heads.
And the last joke
they
of
were
the movie,
drunken frat boys. Who wants to watch that movie?
And the whole joke, the last joke in the movie, I think the angry video game nerd rails on this the most. Is well, obviously I'm a turtle and I can't get up. That dumb line. But also, when Splinter just has the lampshade on his head, he's like, "Look at me, I'm Elvis," and they're like, "Ha ha ha, that's a funny dude," and that's the joke you want to end the movie on, really. That's Stuart Gillard. That's the
last joke ever with the original live action trilogy.
And it's because his whole thing is I don't think I'll ever laugh again, and I'm like, because people don't worship you in New York in your sewer. But people in Japan do, shame on you. Have some humility. Be a hero because you're a hero, not because you want everyone to love you and get attention.
Not that this movie ever could have really been truly good, but they do miss out on some stuff that would have made it stand the test of time a little bit more. Honestly, this wasn't the third entry in the Mutant Ninja Turtles film. No one would ever talk about it. No one would ever talk about it. This is just some random film.
If it was a standalone Turtle movie, no one would ever.
Yeah.
So it's just they totally waste even what good stuff they have. Elias Koteas, who is the biggest name, is just running around as wit, and then he doesn't really do anything as Casey Jones, who's one of the most popular characters in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, probably outside of the Turtles themselves. Probably Casey Jones has the biggest fandom.
It's the Turtles, April, and Casey. That's
he should have gone to Japan with them. That would have been much better.
That would have been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, not that she does a lot in the live action movies anyway. Sans the most recent one they've done with her. They really don't give April O'Neil anything to do.
She was a damsel in distress 2 or 3 times in this hour-and-a-half movie.
Yeah.
Come on.
But she was snarky, and she didn't take no crap, and then she would just be put in a cage and
Right.
And then,
dismissed.
she literally, in my mind, she literally just walked up to these people and was like, okay, here you go, take me for your prisoner. Like, that's how it was.
Yeah. I mean, say what you will about the new Turtle movies, but at least they have April O'Neil doing investigative stuff, like using science, interviewing people, like roughing it up with people. Like, yeah, okay, you know, still, she'll, at the end of the day, she might end up becoming a damsel in distress, but at least she's, like, progressing the plot and doing things the Turtles cannot do.
Yeah.
As opposed to this, like, literally April O'Neil's just like, we have to get April. I'm like, why?
Do you? She could have been fine.
I'm pretty sure she would have been, like, okay, like, she does nothing, like, nothing. It didn't even go with, like, corny, cheap stuff. I don't even have her, like, discover, like, her lost ancestor or, like, fall in love with, like, a cute, like, feudal Japanese man. Like, nothing happens. Like,
it's like they almost wanted to do that with that guy, but decided not to.
Yeah, it's almost like they wanted to. Like, I mean, she could have been like, you kind of look like my friend Casey.
Yeah, well, she says that at one point. She, like, thinks it is him
the
when
first
he's
time.
in the cage.
But which is like, you just saw Casey. He had long hair, didn't have a beard. Do you really think that guy's Casey there in the cage?
Yeah.
Instead, you can be like, oh, wait, are you related? Like, no, she's like, Casey? Like, you obviously don't, like, you know that's not Casey,
It's not Casey, right? Like, you're the reporter.
Yeah. I think that if April and one of the Turtles had gone back together, that would have been much more logical. Of like, okay, they have to actually save a turtle and April. But, like, you know,
Mostly
if it's
a
just
turtle.
April, it's like, It's like, okay, we gotta go save April again. Like, that's their whole thing. It's...
Like, gosh, even...
And then all she does is, like, complain once they save her. She just bitches the whole time.
Like, oh, you guys are so incompetent. Oh, sorry, Lady Lamp, who just...
She literally does nothing to help them. And then she's like, well, I feel like we're going to be here for a really long time because you can't get your shit together. And I'm like,
who's all this?
Excuse me.
Yeah,
you were the one who bought this stupid piece of shit in the first place.
And read the incantation and sent us all here. We came to save you from dying in 1500s.
She's the least grateful. She's worse than Daphne.
There's no indoor plumbing.
She is worse than Daphne, who in almost every episode of Scooby-Doo complains about how long it takes them to save her. And, like, April is worse.
Oh, April's way worse than Daphne. Particularly if you look at the whole scope of the Daphne character.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, in the last, 20 years, they've kind of moved her away from that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Daphne is way more capable than April O'Neil. But Daphne's, just, in the Mystery Inc. You're a reporter, April O'Neil. You, are supposed to investigate.
She's supposed to be smart. She's supposed to do logical things and, if there were scenes of her, sneaking around when she first got there and, spying on people and, listening in on conversations, that would be in line with a reporter character.
Right. Why can't she be the one who figures out, oh, this is what they're doing and here's, why they're at war?
Yeah.
She doesn't do any of that. She's just like, my Walkman.
Next time, just ask me to turn it off. I'm like, you're such a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm done ranting about April. Okay, so... we talked about the rules of the time travel. It's not super complicated. It's the body mass displacement.
Yeah.
Consequences is obviously you end up in the other person's time.
Yeah.
And hopefully one of you decides to
read the chant
and hope the other person on the other end is the same weight as you. What if they weren't? I guess that's my question.
I guess they just wouldn't go. Or they would go they would go to a time where there was
It'd be in limbo time.
Yeah.
That's a movie I'd like to see.
Or they would read the chant.
Time.
Limbo time.
Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
Ewan McGregor. How will they escape?
Yeah, it's I bet it's I bet if you read the chant and
are you ignoring limbo time?
No, I'm on a
He's on a roll. He's on a roll here. We'll make a fake limbo time poster later.
Right.
Yeah, no, I'm all for limbo time. I'm in a thought. I think if you're holding it.
Can we do the limbo?
Oh, I didn't even realize.
I didn't think about that, but on the poster. Okay, fine. Finish your rant.
Well, if you read the chant and 4 of you are holding it, 1 point, it would only go to a time where the same weight, so they would have gone to 1800, or I don't know, at some point in the timeline where 4 of the same weight are holding it. But like,
That's unrealistic.
Yeah, it isn't.
What if they
at all.
switched with themselves from the past?
Ooh. Or maybe the movie should have just ended with them like, we're going back home, and they end up like in Victorian England. And
No,
they're
they
like,
should end up
oh.
they should end up in like Italy, but then they're happy because of pizza.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like they meet the real
And they're just
Michelangelo.
like, all right.
Like while he's painting the
Wait,
Sixteenth
why
Chapel.
has that never been a movie that they made?
He's painting the Sixteenth Chapel, and they just appear, and then they're like, Michelangelo, I'm Michelangelo, and he's like, I want to talk to you more. I just ordered my lunch, and then pizza comes in. They're like, yeah, and they get the pizza, and they jump in the air in the Sixteenth Chapel,
and
freeze frame,
and then Michelangelo, the painter, can have nunchuck paint, like paintbrushes.
That's how he painted.
That's how he painted it. Yeah,
little known fact.
That's a time travel turtle movie that needs to be.
They need to visit all of their namesakes throughout the time. Their artist namesake.
Oh, that would actually be really funny.
What would it be called?
Turtles or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Limbo Time.
Limbo Time.
Yeah.
Limbo Time.
I love Limbo Time. This is my new thing.
Yeah.
And we're gonna write that script.
We're gonna write it.
I don't know what it'll be about. It'll be a little bit of romance.
A little bit of romance.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Rachel McAdams and Ewan McGregor will definitely be in love.
Yeah.
But Bruce Willis will be one of their fathers.
Ooh.
Because he's done a lot of time travel movies.
Bruce Willis has to be Rachel McAdams' father.
Yeah, he has to be. And he doesn't approve of Ewan McGregor.
And then she'll go back in time and meet Joseph Gordon-Levitt as young Bruce Willis.
Her young father.
Stop. It's like a meta time travel.
Yes.
I love it.
And then Eric Bana just keeps popping up to be like, hello. And Domhnall Gleeson is like some annoying, semi-rapey kind of dude.
Like, yeah, just like jumping out of closets.
Surprise!
Wait,
It just gets raped.
What year is this? Oh, gotta go back. And he jumps in.
And his whole thing, he's like actually an evil mastermind, and his whole thing is that he's prevented Rachel McAdams from being able to use her time travel ability for decades.
Yes.
And she's finally broken through with the help of her father, Bruce Willis.
Yes.
Done.
Who of course shoots him and says like yippee-ki-yay at one point. So like Domhnall Gleeson is like, he's like, take that, General Hux.
Well, that movie sounds incredible, and I would
sounds
like to see it.
So good. Looks like there's another dead Weasley twin.
Womp womp. Okay.
Anyway, make it Hollywood.
Make it Hollywood. Okay. So.
We asked for it. We demand it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the consequences. Scientific accuracy.
There's sciencey words that they mention, and on the computer screen, there's like dumb equations and other sciencey words.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it looks like Bill and Ted with like lightning and stuff like that. It's none.
There's no scientific accuracy to mass this.
Does it make like a wormhole or something?
No, it like
does that?
no, it like sucks them with electricity, and they like zap to a different time.
Yeah,
it's like it's not possible, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Bold choice.
Like, there's also like there's no mechanism that we see. Like, there's no mechanism of how they actually travel back in time. They just like read a chant. It's like magic. It's like a supernatural magic-y scepter stuff.
How relevant is it to the story?
It is the story.
Yeah, I'm with you, Matt. It is. I mean, without
they travel in the beginning, they travel at the end, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I know. It really is just a vehicle for them to be in Feudal Japan.
Yep.
I mean, without it, just be another Mutant Ninja Turtles movie in New York, and who'd want to see that?
No.
The whole movie would just be them dancing around in the subways for 90 minutes.
With lampshades on their heads.
Not even teenagers do that, though.
No one does that.
No.
It was never a thing.
That's not a thing.
Unless you're watching The Unsinkable Molly Brown, and that's a sad scene. Spoiler alert. For all you people who haven't seen The Unsinkable Molly Brown,
no,
you should watch it.
Okay.
It's way better than this movie.
I think a rock sitting there still for 3 hours is better than this movie.
It was like too extreme.
I'd rather watch a live stream of four turtles walking around their tank.
That'd be cool, though.
That would be cute.
Very relaxing.
Yeah. With little fake plastic swords.
Yeah. Although
helmets.
Splinter would be devoured almost immediately.
Or drowned.
Yeah.
You know.
That would be fun. I'd watch that.
Can I say, this just popped in my head, random thought,
Mm-hmm.
love to see a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where they cross over with Sailor Moon. Don't know how that came into my head right now.
Ooh.
But how awesome would that be to see the Turtles get to do their own transformation?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That'd be great. I don't know why. For some reason, that just seems like gold.
Yeah. Well, they had a Ninja Turtles meets Power Rangers thing.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I think it would have been funny if they did. You know how in SpongeBob when sometimes they would cut away to like an actual sponge and an actual starfish at the bottom of the tank?
Yes.
That would be funny if they like did this with like actual little turtles,
That
or, like
would
different
actually
plastic
that'd be
turtles.
great.
Okay, closing sets. It's a white Hollywood version of Feudal Japan.
Yeah, I think they shot in Oregon.
Yeah.
For the budget, it's not horrible.
No, it does feel like, they did make efforts to not just put like a wall with like a Chinese scroll or something on there. Like
Yeah, they had huts and they're wearing kimonos. And apparently, I think like the women.
Japanese.
Yes,
we're in Japan, not China. My bad. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I saw that like the kimonos the women were wearing like were tied the wrong way. Like apparently that's how corpses wear them and not living people. But again,
Oops.
it's Oregon, so what do you expect?
Well, they did travel in time, so technically these people are already dead.
There you go. It was actually a brilliant thing that he did. On purpose.
Stuart Gilliard was thinking next level.
Sure
It was probably just like, here's a kimono, put it on, and they're just like, no, they just. However, if you're left-handed or right-handed, you probably just tied it a certain way.
Yeah, I like the fact that April and Ken are the same weight.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
That's kind of funny.
She's a big girl.
Yeah, or he's a tiny man.
I mean, yeah, they're like they're in shape and they're ripped Chinese warriors, or Japanese. Jeez,
but like April
she eats
neither of those things.
She eats sewer pizza though, so who knows what else she puts in her body.
Maybe the Walkman counted as some of her weight.
Well, he had a sword, so
yeah. Okay, so
it's really stupid.
This movie is stupid.
Splitting hairs.
I can't believe you, listener, have listened to 45 minutes of us talking about this dumb movie.
Did you know someone was like, yeah, this is like my favorite movie growing up?
In it for the limbo time.
Limbo time. Good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt, like you said, this is someone's favorite movie. I mean...
It has to be. This is someone's favorite movie.
Even to this day, in their adult life.
Like, they own this movie, they probably have a post... They probably have this exact poster in their room somewhere.
They probably have a fake poster of them and their three friends as well, like pretending to hold the scepter.
Oh my gosh.
Look, that said, I do own this movie. I have the whole trilogy on DVD.
So it's your favorite movie.
And I am.
We found that one person.
And I am currently wearing a Ninja Turtle shirt, simply because it's like the cartoon.
So you're not denying that this is your favorite movie.
I'm just saying the evidence is strongly suggesting it. No, it's I mean, obviously I grew up loving the Turtles. I love the Turtles in Time game.
So
I watched the cartoon.
We're going to have to change the name of our podcast to the Time Travel Duo.
No.
Bride and I will have to continue on without this horrible, moving, loving person.
It was 50 episodes. I got a good run. Yep. But this is where I must...
We'll have to do our own science research.
Yeah. They're going to put me down. I've had had a good run.
Putting on the uniform thing backwards.
Just put his Mutant Ninja Turtles in Time. Oh no, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, not Turtles in Time, because the video game is awesome. I'm with you on that one. Yeah. Now. But we just get the poster, but he has his a pillowcase, and we just smother him.
Yeah.
Shh, don't struggle. It'll all be over soon, sweet child.
Are you good with that? Okay.
Sure.
All right.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, Matt. I'm with you.
Yes.
Teenage Mutant Turtles was the stuff.
I know. I think I definitely Donatello was my go-to. Purple, and he has staff. I love having a staff as a weapon, so he was my favorite turtle.
Cool. And he's a smart guy.
Yeah, well, yeah, he does machines.
Yeah, he does machines. Ooh.
Well, I mean, that's like the theme song.
That's true. Yeah.
And Donatello does machines. I think that's the lyric.
Do you know all the lyrics?
I could probably do it.
Go ahead.
I can't do it. If
I can probably do it. I can't do it.
Like, I was trying to think of how it starts. Obviously, it's like the that thing, and I can't remember how it starts. If it was playing, I could probably sing along to it. Like I know, like Michelangelo was a party dude. Donatello does machines. Raphael is rude or crude. And Leonardo is the leader or whatever. I don't know. Leonardo leads. Donatello does machines. Yeah, that's like how those two go. I don't know.
Okay. Would you want to experience this time travel?
Sure.
You just want to be a turtle.
No, I mean, like, it seems like it's low risk, and you go to feudal Japan for a little bit, and you go back to present day, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Someone else gets to see the future, I get to see the past. of feudal Japan.
Mm-hmm.
My brother would probably enjoy it a lot more than me, but I'd be like, this cool.
We'll bring him along. We need a fourth.
Yeah, true.
I mean, yeah.
Jordy, you can be invited.
Yeah,
Like, what up?
I like swords. I like Japan. I like, samurai and all that stuff. And
Yeah, I'd do it too. It's cool.
Meet a nice, cute, feudal Japanese woman and be like, show her like.
Yeah, you wouldn't leave.
No, I wouldn't leave. I'd find someone. I'd be like, I'm good here, guys.
Peace.
I'm like a god to them. They've never seen someone with dark skin.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're your own. What did they call them? Demons.
Kappa, I think.
Kappa. I'll be the Kappa. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, hey, that's racist. What?
What does that mean?
Hey guys. What's up? Just anime. It's a total mistake. Don't do it.
Don't bother. You could make a lot of money.
Can make a lot of money.
Okay. So, anything else you guys noticed about this film that we haven't talked about already?
We've beaten the dead horse enough.
We've ranted enough to make this an hour-long episode, so I think we're good.
Like they did this movie.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll do final reviews. So, Hyde, why don't you start?
Okay, movie rating. This is not the worst film we've reviewed.
Is it, though?
No, it's not.
No.
S. Darko is
S. Darko
worse
is pretty
forever.
bad.
I'm pretty sure S. Darko is the worst. If not S. Darko, then you have to be Sound of Thunder.
Well, I mean, we all hated, what's it called?
Project Almanac.
Project Almanac.
Yeah, I know, but at least with Project Almanac and Sound of Thunder, you get some enjoyment out of watching it.
Yeah, there's some entertainment
Like
value.
I would recommend those movies just for seeing a movie that does bad time travel.
Good point.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, Sound of Thunder is a good bad movie.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a good bad. There's
But
merit
S.
to.
Darko should
It's
never
a terrible
be seen.
movie. It's a shitty movie.
Really
Same.
don't ever watch S.
Same.
Darko. Like, there's other movies where like, yeah, watch it. If you have not watched S. Darko, don't. There's no even reason to hate watch it. Like, it's that unenjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
There's no enjoyment for hate watching it.
Okay.
So
okay.
with that, I'll
continue.
give it.
It's not the worst movie.
I'll give it a 2.5. There are some funny
Okay.
jokes. The sets are okay. There's some funny moments. It's not like an offensive movie. It's just there's like no racist Asian jokes in the film, really. It's
Their Japanese is rusty when they say like Toyota, Nagasaki. They like do dumb Japanese words. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
in a general sense, there's something like super offensive, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they did that. Which is also, maybe they should have, maybe it would have been a funnier movie. But, yeah, so 2.5. I'm being a little generous, but, like, it's the Turtles, and it's, like, it's a dumb movie.
Yeah.
It should have never been made, but it's not, like, the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. I want to give it a 2 out of 10 because it doesn't have as much of a nostalgia factor for me as I think
Right.
it does for you guys. But there were like dumb jokes that I did like chuckle at
Right.
here and there. And like, you know, it's still Turtles, there's still action, and it's still somewhat comedic, and so that grants 2 points, and that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree. I was right there with you too, Hyde, with 2.5. Same reason, it is. I don't hate it. It's not worth your 93 minutes or whatever long it is. 96 minutes. Do something else with your time. But, if you do want to see it, sure, go for it. It's like I said, it's charming. For me, it's nostalgic. And so it's lazy with the jokes. It's dumb. Doesn't make any sense time travel-wise. But yeah, 2.5.
Cool. Time travel rating?
Time travel rating 1.5. It doesn't get a 1 because at least they try to, do something with it, like mass displacement. I mean, they didn't really have to do anything. They could have just been like, it's magic. But the whole, mass displacement, at least they threw something in there a little different. Like, I've never seen it in a time travel movie. It's stupid,
Yeah.
but I've never seen it before.
It was
It was the one scene of Donatello having to be Donatello who's looking at technology. Like, that was the one Donatello moment,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so, 1.5.
For sure. I agree with you. I think 1.5 is a good rating for the time travel. I liked that, they were sent to 93 and then the Turtles were sent back to, 1603 and but yeah, it was just a vehicle for the rest of the plot. It wasn't interesting, complicated. We spent more time thinking about the time travel than I think the person who wrote it. But yeah, 1.5.
Yeah, I agree. 1.5 across the board for all of us. Same reasons. It doesn't make any sense. The science rules are dumb. The whole space-time continuum out of phase 60 hours thing makes zero sense.
Yeah.
So, it's stupid, but hey, you get some ancient feudal Japanese men and present day New York being silly, and the turtles have swords and they're, being demon gods. So yeah, sure.
Okay.
1.5.
Cool. So, all right. Our Rotten Tomatoes rating for this movie is 21%. So
Yeah.
we were pretty much in tune with that. Critics say it's a case of one sequel too many for the heroes in a half shell, with a tired time travel plot gimmick failing to save the franchise from rapidly diminishing returns. Yeah.
That's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much what we said. Average rating was 3.9 out of 10. So there you go. Our next episode is back to my choice. Ooh. I picked a movie. I've actually never seen this movie. It's on our list, and we're starting to get to the point where we're, there's movies that none of us have seen that we are going to still cover, because that's what our podcast
That's
does.
what our job is. We see
our
these
job.
You probably haven't seen this movie either, but
literally never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's called Time at the Top. This is the synopsis. It says 14-year-old Susan Shawshun. Okay, first of all, Susan Shawshun. That is the worst name I've ever heard in a movie. Susan Shawshun.
Unless...
Shawshun? Shawshun.
No, Shawshun Redemption.
It's Shaw Sun.
Shaw Sun.
Yeah, which, unless...
I like Shawshun better. That's how Sean Connery would say it. Shawshun.
Yeah. Unless there's, a joke in the script about how dumb her name is,
there's too many S's
why
in her
do
name.
that?
Yeah,
Susan
I'm with you, Matt.
Shawson. Okay, that's going to be annoying to say when we talk about this.
Hopefully they just call her Susan the whole movie.
Okay, 14-year-old Susan Shawson travels back in time in her building's elevator. As altered by a retired physicist living in her building, it transports her from Philadelphia of 1998 back to the same place in 1881. So this movie came out in 1999.
It stars Alicia Cuthbert.
Yeah.
What?
So that'll be fun. I'm actually kind of excited. I think this might be a good, bad, fun movie.
Yeah.
For us. It looks like a Disney Channel movie, but
does.
I have never heard of it, and I'm pretty sure it's not. But it definitely is trying to be marketed that way.
Was it at least in theaters? Was there a box office?
Can't find anything.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
we'll
it might have been
it.
straight to DVD, but
it's Canadian, so no surprise there.
Yeah, she's the biggest name, I think. It kind of reminds me of Tower of Terror, but time travel.
Right.
Like Twilight Zone.
Maybe that kind of
But I think it might be on YouTube. I found it there a long time ago when we first put it on the list, and I downloaded it off of YouTube. So it might still be up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is somewhere for free, because I don't think anyone's even heard of this movie. If you have seen this movie and love it, let us know, because I would love to find someone who is really into this movie, because I have a feeling we'll be really into this movie, because just the poster alone is wonderful. It's like a
elevator.
It's an elevator in the background, and there's a
magical wisps,
and there's what are those
Polaroid
camera shot of them, which I guess is the physicist and her.
Is she in love with the physicist? Is she in love with the physicist?
I don't know.
There's so
That's
many
a little
questions.
creepy. She's
We'll get
14.
into it.
Just the name Time at the Top is wonderful. So that'll be our next episode. So see if you can find that somewhere. That's also 96 minutes. So there you go. Okay, social media. We are at Time Travel Trio on Twitter and on Instagram. We are the Time Travel Trio podcast on Facebook, so please follow us and like us on all those things. Our podcast is on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Stitcher. So if you subscribe, we would appreciate that. You can stay up to date with all our new episodes, and if you have time, please give us a rating. We would super appreciate it, so we can help spread the love to people who might be interested in listening to us rant about time travel.
The Time Travel Love.
Time Travel Love, which is the subtitle of
Time Limbo.
Time Limbo. Yeah,
Limbo Time.
Is it Time Limbo or Limbo Time?
I think it's Limbo Time.
Limbo Time.
Limbo Time.
That's right, Limbo Time.
Limbo Time, which is our new movie that we're going to make. So, personal, I am at Jen Marlis on Twitter and on Instagram if you'd like to follow me.
I'm at Foreman in Space.
You are Foreman on Space.
I am.
And I'm at Robinson is Hyde.
And
with that,
we are out of
time.